Right, let's talk salaries if we can. Michael Page's UAE 2026 salary guide is out. Makes for some really interesting reading. Lots of great data in there, lots of good numbers. But a big sort of headline being picked up by the majority of the UAE. And that is with regards to negotiation. Fewer UAE professionals negotiating their salaries as global competition rises. Let's head now to Jon Ede, the Regional Director of Michael Page Middle East, who's joined us live here on the line this morning. Jon, morning to you.
Good morning, Tom. How are you?
Yeah, we're good. Thanks for the report. It's got people chatting, and we love that. Loads of listeners and viewers getting in touch as soon as we talked about it once you released a few days ago. Salary negotiations in the UAE declining sharply. Give us your sort of take on how sharp that is and the reasons behind it.
Well, first of all, I heard Brandy talking earlier, and I completely agree. Sometimes these salary guides can be a little bland, not ours, of course, but I do have to agree, and we're excited about this one. It is really, really interesting. So there's a significant drop. I mean, 49% again attempted negotiation in the last 12 months. Versus 64% in 2024, which we think is quite significant. But what's quite interesting is there's actually more dissatisfaction in people's jobs as well. So those two things don't line up.
Which prompts the why question. So if
Absolutely.
The salary negotiations, if people are reluctant to do that, why are professionals these days less confident to negotiate?
It's supply and demand. So people are generally aware of the current dynamic. Anybody that's been living in the UAE for more than 12 months will have received a CV from a friend, at least one friend, family, or a friend of a friend. The trend is really clear. Everybody wants to be in the UAE. And that's, hats off to the UAE for doing an amazing job. But the competition for candidates is fierce. I think it's fiercer than ever. I've been 15 years in the region, and companies are more specific with us than ever in terms of what candidate they want to hire.
Is that therefore going to breed, or is it breeding job insecurity?
Absolutely, it really is. And I think one of the issues here is that what we're finding is that some candidates don't have the confidence to negotiate, so they're secretly looking for opportunities. Around 2/3 of employees are looking, according to our data, for opportunities, whilst we're seeing a decline in who's willing to negotiate. So that's a concerning trend for companies, and I think they need to be quite proactive in these conversations.
So employers holding the trump cards at the moment, in fact, let's just call it cards at the moment, but UAE professionals for a long time, our card used to be, hang on, I've got regional experience. I've been here for a while. I can bring experience to role. Has that equation changed?
No, there's still a lot of strength in that, but I would say that price is coming into this. I mean, people who are outside the region who are really keen to get in are very flexible. Don't necessarily have a steer like you or I would on what their worth is in the region, and they're keen to get here, quite frankly, at any cost in some cases. So, and some people were seeing landing more on the ground here without work, looking for work, trying to stay here. So those things are all adding up to a bit of a pressure cooker, I think.
Are companies, our CEOs, our hiring managers, HR, under budgetary pressure at the moment?
Yes and no. I mean, it really depends on the industry, right? So that's an impossible one to answer. But in some cases, yes. I think some organisations we're seeing are definitely having to be more careful this year, whereas some are willing to spend, and they're able to capitalise on this situation for sure.
Let's get on to the area of negotiation. I mean, as you mentioned, it's very difficult to cast our net far and wide across all sectors and all industries. But are there certain sectors seeing bigger or faster slowdowns when it comes to pay discussions?
Well, I mean, banking, financial services, technology, AI, those are the ones that are doing well. So I think it's easier to kind of talk about the ones that are doing well, and then the rest are kind of average. But there's no specific industry that I would say is struggling right now, as such. I think there's an influx of candidate talent in every area is what we're seeing. So if you're in a very specific niche, clearly you're less affected by this.
In terms of the talent market at the moment and the growth of that in talent market, we've sort of made, or I've made this idea that it is employer driven at the moment. Is that sort of a fair assumption? Have we sort of moved past the post-COVID days of employee leverage?
It's very employee driven. I mean, I'd say that the market is what we call a job driven market.
Mm-hmm.
So regardless of the amount of talent available, we are still steered very much by the availability of jobs, whereas some more developed markets in Europe and so on, very good candidates can create opportunities for themselves, or recruitment companies can create opportunities for them based on their talent. But no, it's very much driven by the company, in my opinion and our experience.
Can I ask Jon Ede for a bit of advice then? For a man that is flight rather than fight, that doesn't want to negotiate anything as well. I'd be no good in a hostage circumstance, that's for sure. What is the sort of Michael Page house advice on negotiating effectively in this current environment?
Well, to start with, download the guide, know your worth. And I think this is why the guide is so useful for candidates and employees as well as organizations. To be confident in negotiation, you need to understand your worth in the market. There's no point in going into a negotiation without facts, right? So the first thing you need to do is that. Then, get advice from a recruitment agency, get advice for HR even on how to go about that negotiation and be confident in that. But you need to know your stuff.
And in terms of that one, I mean, for professionals listening in at the moment that are nodding away out there, despite current headwinds, etc., there's still the opportunity to make the case for higher pay?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, just because of the data is showing this, that doesn't mean there's not a lot of candidates bucking the trend, right? So this is the data in numbers. But of course, there's exceptions to all of that. And there'll be people listening thinking, well, I was perfectly confident negotiating, did a great job. And that's of course the case. But this is the masses and the numbers we're seeing.
Final one from me very quickly, Jon, if I may. And landlords, a lot of people texting in actually during this conversation saying, not landlords, employers out there saying, using this as a tool to sort of almost threaten existing employees. Your take on that?
I think it's a risky game because I think there's still plenty of employers out there who are willing to invest and take that talent. So, I think that's a risky game.
Jon, really loving the report. Really appreciate your take on it as well this morning. Lots of people talking about it for the last couple of days. Jon Ede is the Regional Director of Michael Page Middle East, and they've just released their latest salary report. Download it, as Jon mentioned, have a little look at it, and let us know your thoughts.